Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm back with a makeup tutorial and I wanted to show you how to get this super spring look with this pop of coral lips and a very simple neutral eye. So if you like the look, then definitely keep watching. But before that, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed to my channel. I upload twice a week and I would love to have you back on the channel. So guys, I thought today I would do for you a kind of spring makeup tutorial. Finally, the weather is a bit better in London. It's really nice and warm and the sun's out, and it definitely inspired me to do a more sort of summery look. And I was inspired by a couple of these looks from the last couple of years, some of these dual makeup looks and some of the other looks I saw on the runway. And there seems to be like a lot of corally red lips going on. Pure coral that's very orangey doesn't really suit my skin tone just because I have a lot of yellow undertones. So I added a bit more red, but obviously adapt the coral to suit your own skin tone. But it's a kind of take on the pinup look, a very neutral eye with a bit of a winged liner, keeping it really clean underneath, and then a really bright pop of color with the lipstick. I've also added quite a bit of a pinky blush and quite high up as well. As you can see in the pictures that I inserted on the screen now, the inspiration was sort of really fresh, hydrated skin with a flush of color, which was obviously the blush. I've tried to keep my skin as natural looking as possible, keeping it really kind of moist, hydrated, with not too much coverage. I unfortunately am not in my best state at the moment and I have a lot of blemishes, so I had to cover those up, but I tried to keep the skin quite fresh, quite natural, and very bronzy and glowing. So yeah, I hope you like this look, and without further ado, let's jump straight into the tutorial. Okay, so I've already moisturized my skin and I've prepped it using the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream, and then I've also used the Triple Eye Remedy just to brighten a little bit underneath my eyes. And I'm going to go in with this glowing primer, which I love so much, from Charlotte Tilbury. It's the Brightening Youth Glow. And I'm just going to dot this all over my face. And this is supposed to kind of even out your skin tone. But mainly I want to use it because I want my skin for this look to be really glowing. We're going for a very kind of natural look on the skin, but my skin, as you can see at the moment, it's not looking its best. It has quite a few imperfections around here. So I want to make it look really nice and even. So I am going to need some coverage, but at the same time, I want it to be like super glowing and look very natural and look as if, you know, it was just really well hydrated, but I wasn't wearing kind of a lot of makeup on top. Now I'm going to go in with the Healthy Glow, just because my skin is looking really sallow and I'm not tanned, and I want to give this a more kind of summery bronzy glow. So I'm just going to pop on a little bit of this just to give my skin a little bit of a, it's not really a tan, but just a bit of a bronzy glow. I'm popping on very little because I'm going to go in with foundation, so I don't want to kind of make my skin too heavy on products. Foundation, I want to keep things really light, so I'm just going to be using my Dior Hydra Life BB cream. So I'm just going to dot this all over my face just to apply a really thin layer. And then I'm just going to use what's left on the back of my hand and just kind of stipple it on the areas where I need a little bit more coverage. But like I said, I want to keep the coverage really light. I'm then going to go in with a little bit of this YSL Touche Eclat in the color Apricot, just to neutralize underneath my eyes. I'm also going to use it around the sides of my nose where I have a little pigmentation around my lips. And then I'm just going to pat this in and blend it all out. I'm then going to pop in a little bit of this Tarte concealer just to cover any darkness, but this is quite a matte concealer, so I don't want to put on too much because I still want my skin, like I said, to look quite glowing. And then again, just patting in to blend. To finish off blending, I'm going to go in with my damp beauty blender, and this is just going to remove any excess of product and also make everything look really nice and seamless. To add a bit of extra glow, I'm going to go in with the MAC Strobe Cream in Gold Light, and I'm just going to add this to the tops of my cheekbones. And this is very subtle, but it just makes your skin look really healthy. It's not even like a highlighter really, it's meant to be like a moisturizer, I think, but it just kind of adds a really kind of nice healthy glow, and I'm just tapping that on just to the kind of tops of my cheekbones. I'm just going to take a little bit down the bridge of my nose and on my chin. What I'm going to do is just go in with the beauty blender just to kind of tap that into place. So as you can see, that's really subtle. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but it just kind of adds a really beautiful kind of golden glow to your face. Okay, now for a bit of cream contour, I'm just going to go and apply a little bit around here with this Charlotte Tilbury one. This is kind of very similar to the routine I do in every other tutorial really. But yeah, it's a nice bronzy look, so you definitely want the contour in there. And I'm going to go in with the Hollywood complexion brush to just blend this out. And I'm going to go in with the beauty blender and just finish blending all of this out so that it looks nice and seamless. And I'm going to take it underneath my jawline a little bit as well, just so that there's no kind of double chin there. As you can see, this leaves a super natural finish on the skin. It just looks a little bit more contoured, a little bit more bronzed, but it's still very natural. I'm now going to bake a little bit, and I said I want to keep the skin glowing, but the thing is, if I don't bake, my concealer is going to melt off because my skin is naturally really oily. So I'm going to try and bake as little as possible just on the T-zone, but I do need to bake a little bit. So I'm going to just dab the beauty blender into my Becca setting powder, and I'm just going to apply this on the areas where it definitely needs it. I'm also going to take it down my T-zone and just underneath my contour to make sure that kind of pops. And then just taking my brush, I'm just gonna dust that off. Then to set the rest of my face, I'm going to use this by Terry Imperlious World of Pearl powder, which is kind of quite glowing. It's more like a highlightery kind of powder. And I'm just going to use this to sort of set the rest of my face so that I can keep that glow. But at the same time, I don't want to not set it because otherwise my contour powder and stuff is just going to cling onto my skin. I'm just dusting this all over a little bit. So as you can see, the face looks quite matte right now, but it still has a bit of life in it. And as my natural oils kick in, it will definitely look a lot more glowing. I'm now going to change things up a little bit, and I'm going to go in with lips. And the reason is, because we're using a bright color, which is going to be the center of the look, I think it's going to help to decide how much blush I need, how much bronzer I need, how much eye makeup I need. So I'm going to go in with this Maybelline by Gigi Hadid lip liner, and this is in the color Lani. And I'm going to line my lips with this. I filled them in a little bit on the corners, as you can see, just to make them look a little bit fuller there. And then I'm going to go in fastly with this Revlon lipstick, and this is in the color Kiss Me Coral. And this is quite an orangey color. But then over the top, I'm going to go in with my Lani lipstick by Gigi Hadid. I'm just applying a really soft wash of color. I want to create a little bit of that ombre effect, so I'm going to go in back with the Revlon lipstick and just apply it to the center of the lips because I want that area to be a little bit lighter. Okay, and that's it for the lips. I think they look really nice because they look really creamy, because even though the Lani from Maybelline color was quite matte, the Revlon Kiss Me Coral is like a natural creamy lipstick. So it's just giving it a really nice sheen without making it look shiny or shimmery, but it's also not completely matte. So they look really nice and juicy. And I really like that kind of look for the summer, because I think really matte lips for the warmer months can look a little bit too harsh. So I prefer this kind of look. Now we're going to move straight onto eyes, and I'm going to use my Chanel Undertone cream eyeshadow because we want a really kind of neutral eye. And I'm just going to take a flat shadow brush and just apply this all over. And this is also great for the summer or for like any warm days because obviously it's cream, so it stays put and it's very long lasting. I'm going to take this into the corner of my eyes as well. And as you can see, it's just giving it a very kind of subtle wash of a beigey natural color, but just with a hint of shimmer. I'm also going to glide it just underneath my lower lash line. I'm not going to pop on my post-it sticky notes just to know the boundaries for the eyeshadow. These really help. And I've started to pop these in a more horizontal way because I think they elongate my eye and they make them look a lot bigger, which looks much better. And I'm going to go in with this nude color from the VB palette, which is a really kind of neutral but slightly peachy nude. And I'm going to use this just to warm up my eye and define the crease a little bit. But I'm going to go quite high up, quite above my crease, just because my eyes are quite hooded, as you know, so I want the eyeshadow to show up a little bit when I open my eyes. To make this a little cooler, I'm going to go in with MAC's Cork with the same fluffy brush, and I'm just going to take this onto the crease, but just going slightly lower. So we're creating kind of a kind of dégradé effect, going like a little bit darker as we go down, but still keeping it in the crease, because the idea of this is to add a little bit of depth, just because my eyes don't have a lot of depth. So if your eyes are really deeply set, you could probably just get away with using one eyeshadow on the crease. But because mine aren't, I need to create a little bit of depth. I'm then going to add a touch of sparkle using this sort of pinky shimmery shade from the Charlotte Tilbury Dolce Vita palette. And I'm just going to pop this onto my lid and take it into the tear duct. And then using a smaller blending brush, I'm going to go in with the Instant Look in a Palette, and I'm going to use this really cool toned browny shade. It's kind of a medium brown, it's not too dark. And again, I'm just going to pop this actually into where my crease is. Just popping it there into the socket. That's why I wanted a more precise brush. And a little bit on the outer corner of the eye. And then using the same flat brush I used earlier, I'm going to take in the same pinky champagne-y shade, and I'm just going to use this to highlight underneath my brow bone. And then I'm just going to take a clean brush and just blend this out. I'm now going to pop these out, and using the same blending brush, I'm just going to blend out this line just so that it looks kind of nice and seamless. I'm now going to take a little bit of this MAC Cork shade, and I'm just going to pop this underneath my lower lash line. And then I'm going to use a blending brush just to blend this out. I'm then going to go in with my gel liner, and I'm going to go in with my angled brush, just create a thin line on the top lash line. I'm then going to top it off using the Master Precise Ultra Fine Liner from Maybelline. For bronzer, I'm now going to go in with one in the Instant Look in a palette from Charlotte Tilbury. Just going to use this to warm up my cheeks a little bit on my forehead, nose and chin. Basically where the sun would naturally hit you. And then for contour, I'm going to go in with the Rodial contour powder as usual. And I'm just going to take this over the areas where I previously applied the cream contour. Using a fluffy brush, I'm also going to take this down the sides of my nose, just to contour a little bit there. And then using the Beauty Blender, I'm just going to make sure it's all nice and blended out so that there's no harsh lines. For blush, I'm going to go in with Nasalgasm, which is like a corally sort of shimmery pink. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of my Becca highlighter and just pop this over the tops of my cheekbones. I'm also going to take a little bit down the center of my chin, nose, and above my brows. Moving back onto eyes, I'm just going to take this eyelash curler and I'm just going to curl my eyelashes. And I'm going to go in with mascara, and I'm going to use the Better Than Sex mascara and the Maybelline Falsies. And then I'm going to go in with a coat of the Falsies Push Up Drama. And I'm going to fill in my brows using the Charlotte Tilbury Brow Lift in Supermodel, which I got, which is a little bit darker than MAC Lingering, but I was really feeling the dark brows lately. So I'm just going to fill them in lightly with this pencil. And then I'm going to brush them out with a spoolie, just to make them look a little bit more natural. And then to set them in place and add a little bit more kind of volume and fill to them, I'm going to add this Tom Ford Fiber Brow Gel, and I have the color Taupe. And this is a little bit lighter, so it just kind of lightens slightly that pencil I've used. And then I'm just going to wipe around them. And that's it. I'm going to go and pop on some falsies, let my hair down, and show you the final look. Okay guys, well this is the final look. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. It is quite simple, and I'd say the main things are keep your skin glowing and fresh with as little coverage as you can manage, a bit of a contour, and yeah, choose the coral that suits your lips best. But yeah, I love this look for spring. I think I'm going to be sporting it quite a bit, so I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below what other videos you would like to see from me, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!